Hello, this is not the real video. It's coming up. I just wanted to share this really quick. I put both these on together last night and thought they were so stinking cute that I wanted to just film this quick little snippet that I'll put in front of the actual video tutorial. But I just think they're so pretty and like glamorous together. You know, if you had somewhere really kind of fancy to go, or they're so lightweight, and they're sold in a kit together as the Crystal Link Duo anyway. So you could make either of them, but you could also wear them together. I just think they're so pretty. And I don't share that in the video because I didn't discover it until later after I filmed it. So that's all. Thanks for joining me. Now on to the actual video. Hello, I'm Vivian LaRoe from Modern Jewelry Creators. Thank you for joining me today. This is going to be part 2 of our new earrings, new year kind of short series where I'm just showing a couple of our new designs on each video, and so they're a little bit shorter so you can choose which ones you want to watch. And the first one that I posted was some large chandelier type styles, and this time we're gonna go almost the opposite, very delicate but still completely chic and sophisticated and glamorous and pretty. So, and very simple. I'm going to show you these tutorials, very quick, very easy, and I think I hope you're going to love them. I just love the way these look. You know, when you make jewelry, it doesn't have to be difficult or complicated or busy to be valuable. Some designs can be really simple and stunning at the same time. And just because you were able to make it in less than 5 minutes or so, doesn't mean it's less valuable at all. It just means you found a way to make a beautiful earring in a short amount of time, so you're very efficient. So I love, love, love these. I just think they work with anything, and they're very chic. And you can clearly make it any length you want. Here's the gold one, sorry. And I made these with 2 different types of crystal chain, and this is the other one. It's real similar with a tassel. I'll show you in just a sec. So it's a little bit longer than my stand, but so pretty, right? So chic, so gorgeous, so lightweight, tons of sparkle, really pretty. I've made it this length because it works with my, the length of my neck. You could do it as long or as short as you like. It's, very simple. I don't even have to necessarily do a tutorial. I can show you and I know you're smart. Here is the link chain, right, in silver. Comes just like this by the foot. I can link everything below. You can also probably find something similar wherever you shop. But here's the link chain, right, with just the repeating circles. So that is what I've used in the body, right? I've chosen a circular ear wire because I think it's really lovely with this design. But then here's that linked chain that I hooked right into the top of the ear wire. And then the teardrop on the bottom is just a portion of this cluster chain, right, that comes like this. That's so pretty, right? And it comes with a teardrop or a marquee shape or a round one, and I just took the teardrop shape off there to use as a charm on the bottom. And that's it, right? There's a little 4mm jump ring between them, and that is all it took. So if you didn't have a little teardrop, you could put any bead at the bottom, right? Put any gorgeous crystal on a head pin and do a loop and put that at the bottom. Or cut the loop off that bottom link. Just cut the bottom loop off so it's clean. And that's it. There's your earring, right? Without that drop. That's pretty too. Whatever you want to do, it could not be simpler. And they are stunning. And I promise you, Swarovski is selling something just the same for like $100. And these are gorgeous. So very simple. I can link the chains below. They're available by the foot or half foot, but again, very simple. Now, the other style is similar to where I've used just one of the crystal links, but then I've done the chain tassel at the bottom there. And let me take these off. One reason I like doing the videos is so you could see them on. You know, I send our our members, an email with all the pictures and links and everything anyway, but they're not able to see them on because I don't take pictures of myself in them very often. Sometimes, but rarely. So these are so pretty, right? And these are a little shorter. So you could leave the chain longer too if you prefer a longer one. It's just really dainty, really lovely, sophisticated, simple, still with, you know, some glam. I just think they are really, really lovely. And I'm going to show you how to make them very simply. But I do want to show you just a little bit of difference. This silver, I did all bright silver crystal, bright silver spacer, bright silver chain. The gold on this one, I chose to do an antique gold spacer and then to mix up the chain with a gold and a brass to kind of tie it back into the antique gold. But it could have easily been done all bright gold. And this one could easily be done like this, except using like antique silver spacers and then mixing the bright chain with gunmetal. Right? So lots of variations here. And since I only have one of the gold, we are going to make the matching one for her. So I am going to do what I normally do in these videos and tip the camera down so that we can see what we're doing. And you can, this will go together fairly quickly and fairly easily. And I will tell you, I have this available. It's a very special kit. I've shared before just about everything I share on this channel, the designs I share, are available as kits on our website and on our Etsy shop as well. And this one that I'm wearing, and this one, so this crystal drop link and this crystal link tassel are available as a duo. It's crystal link duo, and you'll get both kits in silver or gold, or your choice, or mix it up, and for around $25-ish. So that's like $12.50 a kit, or is it $24, something like that, right around there. So I'll show you how to make this so you can find the materials yourself, or you may even have them, of course, on hand, or I'll leave the link to this kit below, which is available as a duo. You get both kits. So just because they're both so simple and they both look really similar. And so typically if you'd like one design, you would like the other. Okay, let's tip you down. Let's go for a little ride. Here's our normal way of me doing this. This is the no editing way. I'm going to move some lights in here. Okay. On the other videos, I am going to do a different little kind of close-up tutorial. But on this one, we'll just walk through putting it together. So I already have all the little bits and pieces ready, but like I shared before, the top crystal here is just one of these little components. You're going to cut the little jump ring in between away. So here's our gold one. I get my pliers. Don't want to slam them down on the table because it makes noise in the microphone. Okay. Needs a ruler. Okay. And let me turn it around. I can't tell when it's right for you. Sorry. So then the other thing we need is the chain. And I've already cut these, but this is a tiny link chain, and I've cut them into 6 pieces. And because I'm doing this gold one and I decided to mix the gold and the brass, for this one I have 3 pieces of the gold link chain and 3 pieces of the brass, and each one is about 1.5 inches, between 1 inch and 1.5 inches. You can just eye it because you're going to trim them afterwards, or if you want them longer, keep them longer. All mine, like I said, are about 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and then I will trim them afterwards. And since I've already made one, I will trim it to be, even with this one. But when I go to trim them, I normally cut them in varying lengths so they're not cut off at the same, like a blunt tassel would be. I try to cut them so they're, kind of varying around there. Okay. Then, one thing that's most important here to make this work are the spacers. These are spacers, it's not a cone or a cap or anything. It's very important. I've used 3 spacers that the hole is large enough. Now, on this one, I decided to do a larger spacer here in the middle, or I can use just the 3 here. I have a little larger one that's a little bit fancier that I'm going to put in the middle just for fun. But you need 3 spacers, about 6 millimeters. But what's key is the hole must be larger. This hole is a good 1 millimeter hole, so that our chains and everything hide up in there, right? Then we need 24 gauge wire. You can maybe use 22 even. That's not that important, but I've got a couple little pieces, about 3 inches long, 2.5, 3 inches long. And then I've got a 4 millimeter crystal and a little 2 millimeter metal bead as well. I don't want to put it on the tray because it'll roll away, but I will show you when we go to do it. So the first thing I would do is cut my chains in varying, or like I said, between 1 inch, 1.5 inches. Then I'm going to make, see that gold? I'm going to make a little wire wrap loop here at the top, fairly small, and I'm going to move it back to the screen just a minute, back to the camera. I have to see what I'm doing. So it's pretty tiny, also about 2 millimeters in size. Where's that? Let me see if that helps. There's that. Right, about 2 millimeters in size. And I just, put it over with the tail before I wrapped it. And now I'm going to string on my chains. And you could go through the short tail or the long tail. Sometimes the long one is easier. And as I string these through, the very end link of the chain, I'm alternating the brass and the gold. Now, obviously, if I was doing all the same color, it wouldn't matter. But that is what I'm doing here, because I'm mixing the colors of the chain. Even though when we get them all in there, it may not turn out that way. They may mix together. So to put them, now we want them in the loop. So I'm just gonna open my tail a little bit and drop them all in there. Okay. Now I've got them all in the loop, and I'm going to close the tail by doing, or close the loop, I should say, by completing the wrap. And just like 1.5 little wraps. No one's gonna see it, so it doesn't really matter how perfect or anything. So I've cut that tail off. Now, here's my chains in my loops, right? So one thing that's important here is that I want this to go up in the spacers, right? So I'm gonna give this loop a little bit of a hug, a little bit of a squeeze here. I use a crimping plier, you could use anything. And now my round loop is not round, right? It's kind of squished. That's why it didn't really matter how well done it was before. because I want this to fit up in my little spacer. So there's one spacer sitting kind of wonky. There's my second one. And here's my third one. And again, I've just used some different ones because I like the look of that kind of bigger one in the middle. But normally, or typically when I've made it, I've used all the same three. Okay, there they are, right? The loop has gone up in the hole there, and it will sit a little bit better once we do the wrap on top. So what's very important now is that I use a 4mm rondelle crystal. And so a rondelle is like a little squishy, it's not round, it's like a little saucer-y shape, kind of, because that's what will sit best in the top of the spacer there. And then I'm going to top this off with one teeny 2mm gold bead. So just in case those lights are bugging you, there's that there, right? So that's all of that. Now we need to do another little wrap loop on top. And this is one everybody will see. And what's important about this one is that it's also kind of what we're using to tighten everything down, to tighten the spacers and the bead and the chains, so it sits kind of nice, so it, sits nicely and looks lovely. I'm gonna bend my wire over. Sorry if I'm moving this off camera. This is not a tutorial on how to do a wire wrap loop. I have those on the channel. There's my loop. Now, I'm at this place, right, where I have the tail. Before I close it up, I'm going to put on my crystal, my little link crystal, because there's a link on both sides. And then I will close her up by doing these wraps. And these wraps are important. You want to make sure that neck is not too long. These wraps are important because, like I said, that's what's going to tighten everything up. So, like, sometimes the wraps are just to finish the loop, right, and close it up. But other times, these wraps are really important that they are done, snugly. They have a purpose of snugging everything up. Okay, I'm going to cut that tail. There she went. And I'm going to use cribbing plier to tuck the tail down. Right, and here's where we are. Right, let me see if I can see better on the black. Sorry, my fingers are in the way. Crystal at the top. We're all hooked up. And then the last step is to put our ear wire. And you'll kind of notice when we did that little squish with the loop in the chains, they're all just kind of, naturally kind of mixed together. And for this design, I used a really simple ball end ear wire. It's always important that the ear wire kind of matches the balance, right? It matches the size and the length of your design. Sliding that over the back, closing the top, and there she is, all done. So pretty. It almost makes me want to make that over with the antique. Okay, I'm going to tip you up. I'm going to move the light, tip you back up, and we're going to say goodbye. Beep, beep, beep. Oh, sorry, this light's in the way too. All the extra lights. Okay. Thanks so much for joining me. They're so cute. Right, these couldn't be simpler. This is also a good example of why it's so important to hang on to your chain remnants. I know I have one silver, one gold. Look how pretty that is. Oh. So it's why it's important to hang on to your little chain remnants, because you never know when you will need them. I have tons of little designs like this. This wouldn't even have to be all the same style necessarily, just small link chain. But super cute, super easy, lightweight, very glamorous. Thanks so much for joining me. I will see you next time. Please like and subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you on the next video. And until then, sparkle brightly like the star that you are. Peace.